Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. Today we're going to do a little bit of a personal project. This is my Heath 4221 oscilloscope. I love this thing. Well, when I had that flood a year and a half ago, this was in it. I'm not sure how much water it had in it. It would have been briefly, but it could have been halfway up. It could have been just to the feet. I'm not sure where this thing was sitting. My middle son is really getting into electronics and electrical stuff, and I really want to have a working oscilloscope so that he can really dig into why things work the way they do. And I thought this would be a perfect one for him to get started on. So today, we're going to take this thing apart, we're going to clean it up, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get it working. Stay tuned. All right, so the first thing we want to do is just kind of clean up the outside of it. There's muck and grime and cobwebs and stuff all over it. So first thing we'll do is just kind of blow off this this film of nasty. Then we'll clean it up a little bit, and then we'll crack it open and get inside and see if this thing is going to still work. You know, these old electronics like this, typically, if they get wet briefly and you let them dry out before you plug them in, normally they're okay, but we'll see. Little compressed air to get the big cobwebs and stuff off of it. And we'll just spray it off real quick, do a quick clean just so I don't have stuff all over the bench and all over me when we're trying to take this thing apart. Shouldn't be too terribly bad. I mean, it's got a little dust on it. It's got a little grime. Some spiders have decided to put webs all over this thing. So hopefully it's just cosmetic. I'd only really used this thing a couple of times before. I had done a video about oscilloscope music quite a while ago, a few years ago, I think. And this was the oscilloscope that I used. I had this given to me by a friend who had it in his collection of electronics. And he had asked if I wanted it, and I was like, sure, you know, especially working on tape decks and, you know, video recorders and stuff like that. Having a decent little oscilloscope would, you know, be something nice to have. So I picked it up from him, and it worked. And so I'm hoping that it still does. That's about got our cleaning done. Let's flip it around this way and see if we've got any nasties on the bottom. Just a little bit of dust, really. It's not too bad. Front of it looks pretty good. A little bit of extra grime over here. All right. So we got a good clean going on. Clean off the nasties on the bench here. So we got a nice clean area to work in. I don't like to take stuff apart and then drag stuff back into it. All right, let's get this thing set up to where we can get it taken apart. It looks like we're going to have maybe 6 screws to take off to get the lid off of this thing. So, all right, let's go ahead and get all that stuff together. All right, well, let's start taking some screws out. I think this top case section should all come off in one go. Now, I want to mention to everybody that if you are messing with old electronics like this, particularly CRT-based electronics, do not open these unless you know what you're doing, because there could be a fatal shock hazard inside. The flyback circuitry on these CRTs holds a lot of voltage, and you do not want to get zapped by that, trust me. Could be the last thing that happens to you. So that's my warning for everybody. If you don't know what you're doing, do not take these things apart, because we don't want anybody to get hurt. So I think these 6 screws will allow this top cover to come off. This is a Heath oscilloscope, and most of these were, you know, designed to be easily serviceable. And it looks like this one's going to be no exception. All right, so there's our first look inside. Now, this was in an area of the studio when that flood happened that probably got up to about this danger high voltage sticker. But looking in it, it really doesn't look like this got much water. I think a little bit of cleaning will probably be okay. If this got any water, I don't think it was much. It may have just covered or gone up to the bottom of this pan here, because there's no grime, water marks or corrosion or anything inside here on the power supply or on any of the circuit boards. So we actually might have gotten pretty lucky with this. Now, going back to the safety aspect, you know, this thing's been sitting for a year. It may have been underwater, so any charge that is in any of this circuitry should be gone. It should have been dissipated by now. But I'm not an idiot, at least not when it comes to high voltage stuff. I'm not going anywhere near this CRT or any of the high voltage circuitry. I'm going to play it safe. I would rather be safe than sorry. So we're just going to take a look at this bottom, maybe use a little bit of contact cleaner on that power supply board down there, get this cleaned up, and then I think it'll be ready to test, because I'm really not seeing any evidence on any of this area here or over here that there was ever any water in here. So this might have actually gotten lucky. It was in a, like I say, a part of that studio that did not get as much water. So thank goodness, because I really want to get this thing cleaned up and working. One of my sons is working in the electrical and electronics field, and he's really starting to learn the basics and the ins and outs. And I'd love for him to have, you know, a nice old analog oscilloscope to play around with. He's been building some electronic projects. I've, you know, turned him onto the BigClive.com YouTube channel, which is great. So he's really excited about it, and I would love to be able to, you know, give him this to play around with. So get it cleaned out here. Yeah, there's really nothing coming off of this thing in the way of dust or grime or anything. Like I say, I do want to go a little bit of cleaner on that board, just to make sure I don't have anything that got in there to short it out. But it actually looks pretty good. I'm going to go in behind that, keep my fingers away from that high voltage, because I want to live. I want to live to see more grandkids and see my son get even more involved in electronics. I want to be around for that, so we're not going to take any risks here. Yeah, this is actually a lot better shape than I had anticipated. I had figured this would be a long, drawn-out video about, you know, pulling boards out of this thing, completely taking it apart and having to repair things, but actually looks like I got lucky. I'd rather have a video that I get into something and ends up not needing fixed and it just works than having one that we dig into and figure out we can't fix it and then everybody's disappointed. So at least maybe we'll do some tests on it. Maybe we'll run some oscilloscope music or something through it to test it out and see how it works. But as of right now, I'm just going to dry this off from the cleaner and put the lid back on, and we'll see if it works. All right, so as far as connections and everything go on this, if we do a test with maybe some oscilloscope music or something, we should be able to use the X and Y channel inputs here and just do an audio source straight into it, maybe on the laptop or something. So we may try doing that. I don't really have any good probes for this. Those did get destroyed in the flood. So I do need to order some new probes that fit the B and C connectors on it, so that we can, you know, do some proper testing, but at least maybe we can play some tones and things through it and just make sure that everything's calibrated still and it still works well. So let me go ahead and get the laptop set up, and we'll get this all plugged in, turned on, and see what she does. All right, it's the moment of truth. So we're going to power this thing up, and I've got the X and Y axis plugged into my laptop, playing some Jerobeam Fenderson spirals stuff, because I figured that should show it off pretty good. So let's give it a shot here, fire it up. All right, we're getting something. There we go. And it looks like it is pretty much playing what's on the computer screen here. You guys probably can't see that, but it looks pretty good for that. Let's maybe run some test tone through it or something. See if I can find a sweep. There we go. Something just to give us a, let's see. There we go. Scale illumination works. Yeah, it looks like she's working. Looks like it to me anyway. Good deal. All right. Well, I guess that answers that question. So I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride with me on this one. I'm glad it ended up being something simple that wasn't a huge deal. You know, we got it going with just a little bit of cleaning, and that was it. So now I can pass this over to my son. I'll find some probes for it so he could use it as intended. But I may give him these too so he can play around with it too. But hopefully it'll find its, next life in some good hands, somebody learning about electronics, and, we can pass it on there. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to spend some, time with me here in the studio going through this old thing. If you are not a subscriber already, please make sure you do that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It really, really helps me out. And for those of you who like a little bit more of a deep dive into stuff, that's what my studio access is for. And I've got details for that down in the description below. If you want to see more of what, we did digging into this thing than what I can show in a normal video. I want to keep those watchable for everybody. So if you like more of an in-depth thing with me rambling on and more of an in-depth look at it, make sure you check out the studio access. It's not for everybody. It's not required. But if you're one of those people, come on in. Until next time, I appreciate you sticking around, and we'll see you in the next video.